Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here. Hope everybody's doing extremely well out there as ever. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today I'm actually revisiting a product that I checked out, I think it was July last year when I checked this product out. And it's the U4 Wireless In-Ear Monitoring System by the guys at Xvive. Now you can check out my full review of the original U4 system right up here, and I will leave a link in the description of the video down below. Needless to say, I was very impressed with this unit in terms of its specs, sound quality, build quality, and the price point. So you can check out the full review where I go through all of the specs, give you a sound test, so on and so forth, and check out, the details of this particular unit. The reason I'm revisiting this today is because Xvive have just released their U4R4 setup. Now, essentially, if you were interested in the U4 in-ear wireless monitoring system before and you were playing with a band, what you'd need to do is buy a transmitter and receiver, i.e. the original U4 setup, and then you would need to buy 3 more or 4 more receivers for the other members of your band. Now, of course, you could do this. There was no problem doing that. Xvive allow you to do that. But what they've now done with the U4R4, that R4 in the name stands for 4 receivers, I'm presuming, anyway. So now you get a single transmitter that can send wirelessly your in-ear monitored signal to 4 transmitters. Now this is a much better value proposition for any of you guys out there who are interested in a setup like this for a band or for studio work, for example, where you need everybody in the band or everybody in the studio to be hearing the same signal via their wireless in-ear monitoring system. You want them to have great sound quality, you want the thing to be really well built and a good value proposition, but you don't want to be buying multiple receivers. You want to save yourself some money in that regard. So for convenience's sake and for value's sake, Xvive now offer the U4R2 with 2 receivers and the U4R4 with 4 receivers. So when you buy the U4R4 pack, which I've got here, you receive a single transmitter and 4 of these wireless receivers, and they come preset to the correct band, so they're all matching. But of course you can change that if you want to and set it to any wireless band you like. So with that said, let's check these out. I want to show you why these are so good. And of course, let's listen to the sound quality and do some of the same tests that we did last time as well. So when you unbox the U4R4 package, you will find, as I mentioned, a single transmitter here. Really well built, all of this stuff. It's the same transmitter you will find in the standard U4 package. It has a pencil style design, which keeps it very compact with an XLR jack on the end that also has a standard jack socket attachment on there that you can add on if you need to plug it into a standard jack socket output on a desk or say a modeling unit or whatever it is that you're utilizing that you want to send to the receivers. We've got a metal construction at the top here, and then to keep the weight down, because this sits in your desk or in your unit, whatever you're plugging it into, potentially horizontally out like this, so they need to keep the weight down. The back end is plastic, however, it's hard wearing, almost sort of metallic look, feel plastic on here, so it's really well made. You've got no issues there at all. Nice compact design, extremely well built. You've got your little clip on here, obviously for undoing the XLR once you've plugged it in. And then in terms of operation, it literally could not be simpler. You have a power button on here, power on or off. You can see the LEDs coming on there. And now I can see, basically, if I turn on the receiver, you can see the green light is on, so it's connected. Oops, and then we've got an aux or line level selector on here, depending on the level that you're sending through to the receivers. So you always get the correct volume level. Very straightforward indeed. No clicks or pops when you do any of this operation. Then we have a band selector on here. So essentially, you can move between the different bands of the 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection, essentially. So set that to the best band for the venue or studio that you're in, depending on what other devices are around, and you will get the best quality signal. Now, in terms of the actual battery life of this unit, it's an integrated battery that lasts for around 5 hours. So that's enough for any studio session. Maybe you'd need a quick recharge in between studio sessions, and enough for any gig. I did mention in my previous review that this is an inbuilt battery, so that does come with a downside in that you cannot change the battery if you forget to charge before a show. However, if you're fairly diligent and you remember to charge, that, as I mentioned, is enough for any show that you would find yourself doing. And then the receiver, you get 4 of these in the box, and these are an all metal construction. Now, obviously that makes perfect sense, and I'm glad that Xvive have done that, because this is the bit that's more likely to be dropped on the floor as you are attempting to get this onto your belt or your guitar strap, or as you're dancing around on stage, whereas the transmitter is obviously in a fixed position. So really, really well built. And then on the back here, you've got this incredibly solid metal clasp. It's almost impossible to pull that out. So that's a really good design. It's going to stay on your belt or guitar strap really, really nicely. Again, incredibly easy operation from this very, very compact unit. So you've got small headphones socket on the top. So you may need an adapter for very high quality headphones, but for your standard in-ear monitors, they all come with this size of headphone jack. Okay, and this will drive even high impedance headphones if you need to. It's got plenty of volume on there, exceptional sound quality. And then we've got our on-off switch on here. You can see that's turning the LEDs on or off. You can see how quickly it's connecting to the transmitter as well. It's almost instantaneous. We have a band selector on here that matches the transmitter. And then we have our volume control. Now this unit is loud. So on stage, if you are playing on a louder stage, you have plenty of volume here to send through to your in-ear monitors or headphones, maybe overhead headphones, closed back headphones in the studio, whatever you need. There is plenty of volume available here. And again, 5 hours of battery life. You can see the micro USB charging point on there with the cable included as well. So you don't need to buy anything else and you can charge all of the units at the same time. So now you've seen the construction and the actual kind of functionality. Let's check out some of the specs and we will check out the sound quality. So before we hear some examples of how the U4 setup sounds, let's check out some basic specs. So with this wireless unit, you've got with all 4 receivers up to 90 foot of range. Now that obviously depends on what you've got going on in terms of the RF signal path and also whatever might be blocking the signal. But in my house, I can go all the way downstairs into the kitchen, which is at least, you know, a good couple of walls through, a good 30, 40 feet away, and no issue whatsoever with the wireless signal. Nothing is dropping out, and I've tested that with all 4 receivers as well, so no issue there. So on a standard stage or in a studio, you shouldn't have any issues at all. You also get a full 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz frequency range. The average human being is nowhere near that much, so it will be absolutely fine for any audio signals you send through it. And you get very low latency operation, so you get less than 5 milliseconds of delay when you're running wirelessly. Now, for the average user, that is not even going to be perceptible. That is like standing a reasonable distance away from your cab on stage if you're a guitar player, or, you know, a reasonable distance from the monitors on stage for everyone else. So it really is a non-issue. And in the previous video that I did, that again, you can find down below, I did a latency test so you can see what that latency is. And it's really, really minimal and pretty much bang on accurate for what the Xvive guys are quoting. Of course, as with most wireless in-ear monitoring systems, the U4R4 setup, or the U4 generally, is mono. So you were not getting stereo operation, but I really wouldn't let that worry you. When you hear the sound quality test in a second, we'll switch between stereo and mono signals. And this does a fantastic job of keeping the sound quality excellent whilst giving you that mono signal and mixing everything down very, very nicely. So standard operation for in-ear wireless monitoring systems is generally mono anyway. It's really a non-issue. They sound fantastic with great bass, treble and mid-range frequency response. Okay, so in terms of listening to the sound quality that's going on here, I've plugged the transmitter into the second headphone output on my audio interface. And using the DSP mixer on the interface, I've summed the output to mono because we need mono operation from our output in order that we don't just hit a left channel through our in-ears. What I've then done is sent that via the transmitter to the receiver unit for the UR4. Then the headphone socket, I've plugged in a standard stereo jack cable, so a mini jack to 2 separate jacks, which is going back into my audio interface. And in this case, I'm recording that signal, which is still mono, of course, because we've summed to mono to go to the receiver. But what I want you to listen to when I play this back is the original signal in stereo, and then listen to the summed mono signal that's coming back from the receiver. Now, of course, you're going to be hearing some fidelity differences because stereo to mono, of course, but what you want to listen for is the quality of the sound, the lack of any noise that's going on, and the transients that you're getting still remain beautiful and clear. This is a great listening experience overall. So let's have a check of that now. So there we go, guys. Really, really great sound quality. Very impressive at the price point. If you're interested in the full latency test that I did in my previous video, again, check the link in the description below where you can see that latency test and see just how low it actually is and how much of a non-issue it is using wireless in-ear monitoring systems, especially the U4. I'm thoroughly impressed. I liked the U4 as it was. I thought it was a great product, which is why I reviewed it, because I don't review products on the channel or do demos of products on the channel I think are a waste of your time or money. This definitely is worth the asking price, in my opinion, especially if you're looking for a bit more of a value proposition for a band or for studio work. If you've regularly got guys coming into a studio that you run, for example, be it a home studio or a private studio, you might want to have a really good wireless monitoring system on tap. Great setup here, guys. So if you click the link in the description below, that will take you to the Xvive website where you can check out the full details on the U4R4 and check out where you can buy it in your particular region. I know it's definitely available on Amazon for most users in various parts of the world. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons below as ever. And of course, you know what to do. Hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified every time I upload a video. If you like what I do, down below you will find links where you can support me by checking out my guitar lessons, improvisation, legato, technique, all sorts of stuff down there. And of course my app Solo as well, which is available on Android and iOS devices right now. All right guys, thanks again for watching. My name's Tom Quayle. I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.